Hello everyone. In today's video, I'll be explaining the poem Kubla Khan by the prominent romantic poet Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Coleridge, primarily known as the English poet, literary critic, and philosopher, he is also known as the supernatural poet and as one of the founders of romantic movement in England, because it was after the publication of lyrical ballads in 1798 in England Romanticism is supposed to have begun. He is also well known for his two poems, Kubla Khan and the Rime of the Ancient Mariner. Kubla Khan by Coleridge is a dream image. It is a dream content as Coleridge was inspired to write this poem by his dream. It says that once Coleridge's health was not good, so he had taken off him as painkiller. And because he had taken off him, he was under the effect of opium, and he was sitting in a chair and he was reading a book. He was reading a book all about the Chinese emperor Kubla Khan. And because of the effect of opium, he happened to fall asleep. And thereafter, he had a profound sleep for about 2 to 3 hours, during which he composed nearly 200 to 300 lines in his dream. And when he woke up, he could recall each and every line clearly which he had written in his dream. Then he took the pen, he took the paper, and he started writing down the poem. Unfortunately, as he was writing, and as he had just finished 54 lines, there was a visitor knocking at the door. He was called by a visitor, and he went outside, and after completing his job, when he returned back, Coleridge found that all the ideas from his mind were gone forever. He no longer had the memory of his dream, and this poem is what the 54 lines he had written instantly just after waking up. Coleridge, or one of the prominent romantic poets, he incorporates certain features of romanticism in his poetry. In this very poem, we can notice the appreciation of nature, the incorporation of supernatural elements, high flight of imaginations, and redefinition of man. He begins the poem with the appreciation of nature and then moves on to the description of supernatural elements, and finally concludes the poem redefining who a man is. So this is exactly the first stanza of the poem is, as the subtitle suggests, this poem is a fragment because in his dream he had written 200 to 300 lines, but in reality, he could just write 54 lines. Therefore, as the subtitle suggests, this poem as a dream content. This is what the first stanza is all about. In the first stanza, there is the description of the very palace. The poem begins with the order of Kubla Khan. Kubla Khan orders a palace to be built in Xanadu, and his order is carried forward. And the whole first stanza is the description of that stately pleasure dome, that is the luxurious palace. The palace has occupied 10 miles of fertile ground. The river all flows by the side of the palace. Similarly, the river is girdled, surrounded by walls and towers. And there are beautiful gardens with sinuous rills. Here, sinuous rills stand for zigzag streams. Not only that, in the garden in front of the palace, there are incense-bearing trees, and in the backdrop, there are hills covered with forest. Finally, the first stanza concludes with the phrase, sunny spots of greenery. That means, though the place has greenery, it also unfolds the light of the sun. It looks very beautiful. And what is important for the reader is the description of nature that Coleridge suggests in the first stanza of the poem. It is through the reference of the Alf River, gardens with brooks, and hills, green hills. Coleridge produces a beautiful image of nature. That means he describes the place Xanadu and the palace in the lap of nature. The second stanza, in second stanza, we can notice Coleridge's image as a supernatural poet. It is true that in first stanza, we notice Coleridge appreciating nature, but somehow Coleridge is known as a supernatural poet, and we see that particular image in the second stanza. For the students of literature, what is to be noted that it is William Wordsworth who is known as the poet of nature, whereas Coleridge, on the other hand, he is known as the supernatural poet. So what we find is, as the supernatural poet, Coleridge makes the use of supernatural characters and incidents in his poetry. He presents supernatural in such a way that it appears natural, because of which readers willingly suspend their disbelief. And it is through those supernatural elements, Coleridge creates an atmosphere of mystery and awe. He transports the reader out of the world of everyday life into a world of world wonder. So in this poem, especially in the second stanza, one can notice the image of Coleridge as a supernatural poet. There is the reference of a woman who comes when the night declines, and she cries for her demon lover. But exactly we don't know who she is, why she comes only at night, and who her demon lover is. Is it because she's sad because her lover has left her? Or is it because she's sad because she has come to know that her lover is a demon? We have no idea regarding that. And even Coleridge does not bother to give the answer to that questions. Next supernatural element that we find in the poem is the reference of Kubla Khan, who goes near the river and who listens to the sound of his ancestors who are predicting war. So, with the reference of the women crying for her demon lover and Kubla Khan, who listens to the sound of his ancestor, Coleridge transports the reader into a world of wonder and evokes mystery and suspense in the mind of readers. In third stanza, Coleridge begins third stanza with the reference of a damsel. Damsel is a young girl and she is with a dulcimer. Dulcimer is a kind of musical instrument and she is producing song and symphony. In poet's understanding, Kubla Khan, with his enormous power, position, and wealth, he could build a palace instantly. And on the other hand, damsel, with the help of her dulcimer, she could produce symphony and song. The poet has neither enormous wealth nor dulcimer, but he makes a claim. He says that though he is bare hand, he makes a claim that he can build that dome in air. That is to say, he can build that palace in air. Why does the poet make such claim? What makes him capable of building that castle, building that palace in air? And the answer is, he makes the claim of building that dome in air because he is gifted with imagination. That means, as the poet is gifted with imagination, he can create that dome in air. So this is related to the celebration of imagination, the high flight of imagination, which is one of the major characteristics of romantic poetry. That is to say, While focusing on the power of artists to create the world of art, Coleridge is concerned with the high flight of imagination. And along with the exploration of the high flight of imagination is the redefinition of man by Coleridge. Romantics, they redefine the concept of man. For romantic poets, man is equal to God because as God has created the universe using his power, man also can create the universe using his power of imagination. So Coleridge establishes the image of man as God. Along with this video comes to an end. If you enjoyed watching this video, do not forget to subscribe my channel, press the bell icon. Thank you very much.